Hello, in this video we're going to talk about access specifiers. So now that you know what classes are and a little bit about how to use them, we're going to talk about making them even more effective. One of the big points about using object-oriented programming, using classes, is encapsulation, or the idea that you can hide the internals of a given object from the rest of the program, so its implementation details are separate. Access specifiers are a good way to do this. So in this case we have a robot class here, and within that we have position and angle variables. But a robot can't just teleport all over the place and it can't just move instantaneously. So we don't necessarily want anyone to be able to get and modify these angle and position values. We only want them to be able to change as a robot would change them. So we have a drive straight and a turn member function that allow us to change those variables. So this is where access specifiers come in. They allow us to say who is allowed to see and modify those variables and functions. So we can use the keywords private and public. Private means that only within the class can those variables or member functions be seen and modified. Public means anyone can do so. It's worth noting that protected is another type of access specifier, although we will not be talking about it today. So we can then over here look at the implementation. Drive straight takes in an array and adds each array component together. It's effectively doing vector addition to move the position of the robot. So notice you can't multiply the position of the robot. You can only augment it through addition, because drive straight only does addition. And the same happens with turn. That's the only way to change the angle. And then if you want the angle or the position, you have to use the get full robot position member function. You can't just have access to position and angle in main.cpp, say. So we can go over here and we can look at main, and we create a robot class. We create an array. We're going to move that distance. We're going to get the position here, and then we're going to print the position values out on the screen. And I'm going to comment this guy out here for now. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to be able to go in and we can compile. And then we can run access, and you'll note that it prints out the values 10, 2, 0, and 0. So 10 in the x, 2 in the y, 0 in z, and 0 in angle. Because we didn't modify angle at all, and we didn't modify z at all. But if we go in here, and now we try to get the angle of the robot, when we go to compile, we'll get an error. Note that it says it cannot compile because angle is private. The same would go if we tried to access position or modify position. So this is a very brief introduction to access specifiers. But when creating a class, you need to think about who should have access to what variables and what functions. And when in doubt, you can make your variables private, and then you can add what we call getter and setter methods. Getters return the value of the variable, and a setter allows you to change that value. And then you can change that implementation later to provide constraints to how they can be changed in a setter. So in a sense, the drive straight is a way to set and really change the position. Okay, that's it for access specifiers. We'll see you in the next video.